This is, by the way, this is crazy. How many people have y'all seen on Instagram that are fake AI accounts? Because I have seen a lot. So we started at Real Girls. That's gone. We're out. That's out. That's out. Real. That's done. Girls using filters. Okay. Then now it went down to this, right? It's girls using filters. Then after it went from girls using filters, it went to girls. Actually, that's not true. Girls with plastic surgery. And then we have girls using filters. And now we have AI girls. So we started with real girls. Now, it's not that the titties aren't real or their ass isn't real. They don't even fucking exist. Actually, you know what? Oh, you're right. Yeah, they're not even real. It's progress, yes.
You seemingly can't go 15 seconds without having AI shoved in your face by some sort of commercial enterprise.
Of course.
You have Coca-Cola now using AI imagery for their advertising campaigns. Yep. You have Google working Gemini into practically every single product that they offer. But no matter what company it happens to be, there's a very clear atmosphere. It kind of feels almost desperate.
Wow, that's exciting. That's going to be great.
When you see it in real time.
Yeah.
They want you to accept it, use it, even admire it. But that's the consumer side of artificial intelligence. It's the end user products that they want you to engage with, which turns out to be a tiny fraction of the overall market, completely overshadowed in the background by industrial applications.
Yeah, of course.
AI is now the basis for pretty much every single social media platform, from TikTok to YouTube, Facebook, and Instagram. But today we're talking about Instagram in particular. We're talking about a problem where the human component of Instagram...
We're talking about fake-ass hoes. Literally. They don't exist. Yeah, they're not even they're not even real.
Being supplanted by thousands upon thousands of AI-constructed profiles, which many people have no idea even exist. It's a complicated problem.
That's true. Like, you see some of these y'all ever look at one of the AI girls, what do you call it? Like, on their comment section, and you'll see like some guy who's like, please come to Turkey and marry me. I own 3 horses and a goat. I see it all the time. Constantly. It gets people.
Which has roots across multiple social media networks. But to break it all down, I want to start with this. According to research posted in the European Data Journalism Network, with findings and methodology that are available in a public document, Instagram disproportionately amplifies photos and videos that show excessive amounts of bare skin. Anecdotally, a lot of people consider Instagram to be largely dominated by what's called thirst traps, a term which is...
That's hoes again.
Funnily enough now recognized by Merriam-Webster and means, quote, a photograph such as a selfie or video shared for the purpose of attracting attention or desire, end quote. Thirst traps are typically women, though plenty of male...
By the way, I think that it's a dishonest interpretation that Instagram tries to encourage people to take their clothes off. Instagram doesn't do that. Instagram has an algorithm that promotes content that's more popular, and more popular content is oftentimes clothes or things that are less clothed because they're sexually suggestive, and people like that. So it's not really that Instagram is rewarding people for taking their clothes off. Other people are, and Instagram is simply adapting to the other people on the website that are doing it. I don't think that's fair to say Instagram is doing it. Popular, yeah, if it's popular, it gets promoted.
Influencers also participate in this behavior, to be clear, who post pictures of themselves with limited or revealing clothing in a suggestive way, thereby subverting the terms of service and attracting attention from their audience.
Yeah.
It's not new, and it's not uncommon. But what many people don't know is that it very well may be hard-coded right into the promotion algorithm of the platform. According to the research I previously mentioned, quote, posts that contained pictures of women in undergarments or bikini were 54% more likely to appear in the newsfeed of our volunteers.
Yeah.
Posts containing pictures of bare-chested men were 28% more likely to be shown. By contrast, posts showing pictures of food or landscape were about 60% less likely to be shown in the newsfeed.
Because they get less likes. Yeah. Like, I hate it when there's a hot girl on Instagram and she posts a picture of her food. God, nobody cares. Just stop. Literally nobody gives a fuck.
Quote. Disclosing limitations here,
Yeah.
the study is far from definitive on the subject. It analyzed roughly 1,700 posts containing 2,400 pictures and regularly scanned the feed for a couple dozen volunteers to determine what they were seeing and how prevalent. Obviously, I'd like to see tens of thousands of profiles analyzed to get a much more comprehensive
Such a
look at the
logical
reality of the
explanation why
algorithm.
this happens.
But taking the study at face value, it paints a very skewed picture of what content is typically
Shouldn't take it at
promoted,
face value.
and seems to corroborate what a lot of people already firmly believe about the platform, which is posting revealing pictures in skimpy clothing is the fastest way to get increased viewership.
People love hoes. Can I be a scientist now? I'm pretty sure now I'm a scientist, right? Yeah, no shit. Duh.
It's really not so hard to believe.
It's
Sex
not.
sells, as
Wow.
they say, and it's been that way since the dawn of humanity.
Exactly.
But going a step further, there's actually a patent held by Meta Platforms Incorporated, the parent company of Facebook and Instagram.
Yeah, what is it?
Which outlines, quote, methods, apparatuses, and systems directed to calculating a probability that a user or set of users will engage with a multimedia object for customizing content in a social networking system, end quote. AKA, a patent for how they algorithmically determine what will be the most popular. Well, inside that patent is a very interesting section which goes like this, quote, in particular embodiments, API may estimate the state of undress of the people in photo by detecting large swaths of a set of common colors, such as identified skin tones. This disclosure contemplates any suitable method of feature extraction through application of computer vision algorithms.
Yeah.
End quote. In simplified terms, the patent that they hold for determining the popularity of visual content directly considers how much clothing the person is wearing, scanning for large
Of course
swaths.
it does. Absolutely. Yeah, of course. Because if people are liking photos of girls that aren't wearing a lot of clothes, the algorithm should feed them more photos of girls that aren't wearing a lot of clothes. Of course. Yeah, duh. Shit. So it needs to know. Yeah, obviously. Like that. Of course, that's how it should be.
Common colors,
Yeah.
such as identified skin tones. It's far from definitive, but consider the prevailing atmosphere of Instagram as a platform. Certainly not every single user encounters a feed dominated by partially undressed influencers, but
They
enough
should.
people do to where studies are coming back with significantly skewed results, and the common impression of the platform is that it heavily promotes or incentivizes that type of content. So why does it matter?
The platform doesn't promote it or incentivize it. The users on the platform do. It's a bunch of horny guys that are trying to look for girls to post photos. That's the reason why. Instagram isn't bad, people are. And people use Instagram for that thing. Yeah, it's obvious.
If we accept that the platform is dominated by this type of content now, and if we also accept that machine learning algorithms are the reason why it's happening to begin with, what if we add a new layer?
Okay.
What if we introduce a system where publicly available AI tools allow users to mass produce this kind of content from a single laptop,
Here we go.
thereby overrunning Instagram's feed entirely and platform with often indistinguishably altered reels stolen from actual people with transposed artificially generated faces on them? What then?
Now,
Well,
this is the fun part. Everybody knows that's the reason, but this is the fun part. Here we go.
Obviously, we don't have to wonder what then because it is happening.
It's happening
That's the
now.
purpose of the video. And today I want to show you why it's happening, partially how it's happening, and how bad the problem really is. Whether or not people agree on the severity of that problem or the scale of how detrimental it can become eventually is another story. But hopefully when I'm finished, people will begin to realize that the human component of the online world, in this case Instagram, right, as the first example, is being drowned out. Before going further, today's video is made possible by Incogni, which is an online privacy and
I want to say, like, I've followed a lot. I've seen a lot of these accounts. I think that the amount of AI accounts now is insane. And the reason why is they all have OnlyFans. They make OnlyFans for these AI characters.
protection service. Privacy and data protection being topics that I think
that's what it is.
underappreciated and woefully underprioritized in the
Fake
modern
internet
digital
theory?
world. Everybody wants your data. It's worth money. They train machine learning
Default- yeah,
models
you know,
on it,
I
and
pay
you are the
attention to this
victim
for a
of whatever
while.
they decide to do because it's your data, your information, with an entire online economy built
They all
for
have
it
OnlyFans
that
and they look
operates
so
independent
real.
from your
They do.
knowledge or input. The tangible results of this, by the way, are things like spam phone calls,
Mm-hmm.
emails, junk mail, text messages, you name it. And once the cycle gets going, it basically never stops.
Never
Personally,
give somebody your phone number. Like, anytime you need to sign up for something, never give them your phone number.
information is everywhere.
It's like getting an
not just in the
STD.
archives of companies you know about or gave permission to, but other data
Never
firms
do
as
it.
well, who then trade it all across the internet. For everyday users, it's essentially impossible to take any action at all, because there are hundreds of these data brokers with a deliberately complex framework to try and contact them, fight objections, or get anything removed. However, Incogni does all of that for you quickly and easily. I've used it myself, I paid for the service, and I'm confident endorsing them. The process is relatively simple. Sign up for the website, give them legal permission to work on your behalf, and let them know what information they'll be having removed.
It's crazy
and
the
then just let
government
them
doesn't
work.
just do that
That's it.
on its own.
Aggregating the service helps them streamline the
nuts.
process, and once it gets going, you'll see results pretty much immediately, which means less spam, less junk mail, and less people selling your information online. Using the link down below in the description and code ECHELON at checkout, you'll get 60% off an annual subscription to Incogni. Again, link down below in the description and promo code ECHELON at checkout for 60% off your subscription. Big thank you to Incogni for sponsoring the channel. All right, back on
There we go.
task. To properly explain how it all works, I want to break things down into two categories. First generation AI influencers, and then second generation AI influencers. A great example of the first generation in this case would be Aitana Lopez. For anyone curious, Aitana Lopez is an AI influencer created by a modeling agency who now has hundreds of
$16,000 a
thousands of
month.
followers on Instagram
Makes $16,000 a month doing this shit.
and earns, as of November last year, over $16,000 per month. If you scroll its feed, I almost called it her a couple of times in the video script, but I made sure to correct that issue, obviously. If you scroll its feed, you'll see it primarily consists of AI-generated imagery, sometimes blended with real photos, taken for the purpose of promoting its brand.
Yeah, of course.
Here's what I'm talking about. This is obviously a real photograph. AI is not yet capable of imitating complex logical sequences inside an image. That is to say, the rows of chairs and the numbers that they have sequentially making sense. Just, it's not a step that the generative AI imaging models can currently achieve without either significant human editing or some sort of real photo basis. So we can confidently assume this is a legitimate baseline photograph that they took for the purpose of placing Aitana.
I don't think people care that it's AI. I don't think they give a fuck. Because people like VTubers and everybody knows they're fake. Doesn't stop people jerking off to them. People don't care if it's AI or not.
Inside it. However,
They
that
just wanna
kind of
do 'em.
customized
Yeah, exactly.
photographic foundation is being used by a legitimate modeling agency who operates the Aitana profile as a media stunt. What happens when everyday people realize that they can create an entire digital persona and thirst trap on Instagram with it, which is the most popular way of creating content with the fastest through line to growth? What then?
Yeah, of course.
Well, that's where we get to what
That's
I call
today.
second generation AI influencers. And this is where things get illegal, highly unethical, and predatory. Here's an example of a second generation AI influencer called
1 million followers. Look at that. This is an AI character that has 1 million followers. She's not even real.
I'm Alice with
Yep.
over 1 million followers. It's a good thing that the profile still discloses that it is powered by AI in its bio.
I think it has to.
Surprising, actually.
I'm pretty sure it
But
has
if you
to.
scroll the feed of posts, you immediately find a high number of video reels.
Yeah.
However, if you look at those reels, some of them are constructed better than others. Something almost immediately feels off.
They're not.
It's an
they're not
uncanny
great.
valley type situation, which is the phenomenon where as something gets closer and closer to a human likeness, we
Yeah.
gain affinity for it, up to a point where suddenly we become disgusted or repulsed by it.
Yeah.
It's a strange thing, really, and very, very interesting. But basically, if a sculpture or a video or a robot or whatever is close to a human likeness, but not quite there, we feel an overwhelming sense of unease when looking at it. And that is precisely the feeling that some of these Instagram reels will begin to elicit from discerning viewers. Well, the reason for that is because this video has been altered with an AI program to swap out the woman's face.
Oh, they do this shit with Tom Cruise all the time. Yeah, this is, yeah, exactly. Like, they done this with Tom Cruise. And what, South Korea made this illegal.
Original video is from a human influencer named Rachel Pizzolatto, who has about 800,000 followers on Instagram, give or take. But it's been flipped on its horizontal axis with an altered
Right.
face and reposted now by Alice. This is an example of second.
And look at all the comments. I love you, stunning hearts. I love you, super hot. Hello, hello. Like, yeah, they love her, man. They think she's great.
Generation AI influencer behavior, but it's really just a window into the wider landscape of what's happening right now at scale all over Instagram. Let's build out the spiderweb. This post, the facially swapped video of Rachel Pizzolatto, tags another account, Dream Alice Shaw, which has 100,000 followers.
That's right.
If we go to that profile, we find a bunch of extremely similar images.
Well, here's the thing. We're not even talking about the real moneymaker here. You have the link tree. Guess what's in that link tree? OnlyFans. Obviously OnlyFans. So what these people do is they make one character that's AI, and then they use the one character that's popping off, and then they use that to advertise the other characters too. So that's how it works. And so, like, then now you have like a whole farm of these characters that are cross-promoting each other, all selling porn, basically, and none of it's real.
And also reels like this one. This is quite clearly an actual human female. AI programs can't quite get this close to reality just yet.
They will.
They have this wonky visual sense to them. But if you go frame by frame, you can actually see the moment where the program kicks in and swaps out her face.
Yeah.
For this one, I couldn't find the original video to show them side by side, but it's out there somewhere. That's two different profiles, collectively holding over 1 million followers, but in the grand scheme of Instagram, that's a drop in the bucket, not even. Except if you start taking the reels that this one second-generation AI influencer is constantly posting, grabbing snapshots of them, and throwing them up on Google with a reverse imaging search, you start to find dozens of additional profiles promoting these same AI fakes. Here's one.
It's all a network. It's probably the same as like on Twitter or any of these other platforms where it's probably like 5 dudes that are doing this. And they just do it like 8 hours a day or like 12 hours a day every day, making these accounts and like making these new characters and then advertising them. That's what they do.
By Alice, which is stolen from some unknown real model, which returns about a dozen additional profiles, such as this one, Sweet Sophia, posting a nonstop feed of stolen, facially swapped material with 28,000 followers. And before anyone says something here, some of these followers are certainly fake, yes, or purchased, but there's a hefty amount of very real engagement on these.
They wouldn't do it if they weren't making money from real people. Let's be real. Like, they wouldn't keep doing it if it wasn't working.
Profiles with people completely unaware of what's happening.
Is this illegal?
This is populated by real people interacting with this profile as if it's genuine. Here's another one. Same altered video from an account called Your Beau Ideal with 27,000 followers, and the list goes on. Here's one with a woman dancing. Stolen, altered, and reposted by Alice. Reposted by another account called
And a lot of
Isabel.
them, the way that they talk, it's obvious that they don't even English. They don't know what the fuck English is. They just Google Translate this and put it out there.
Laboni this time, 50,000 followers, where the original has been taken from an account called Rave Girls Official, flipped on its horizontal axis, and face swapped with AI. This is just one network with hundreds of posts and collectively millions of followers, but it's one network of many. And now we have to ask the question, why? Why is this happening?
Do we really have to ask that question? I don't. I know why. Do you know why? You do? Yeah. Yeah, we all know why.
Short answer, obviously profit. These profiles make money. People direct message them constantly, and those people messaging, thinking it's a real person, can easily become victims of shazupan, which means the pig butchering, referring to a now industrialized practice.
Pig butchering, I love it. So I didn't even know this. So basically, oh fuck, do I just say it? I dated a girl that was into Findom, and so like, I mean, I'm not into. I think it's weird, right? But like, I would ask her a bunch of questions about it because I'm like, how does it work? Like, how do you get people to do this? It was not Izzy. No, it was not somebody else. But anyway, they would call them pigs. Oh God, should I say this? I'm thinking about if I should say this. Y'all in for a treat. I'm gonna say it. Hopefully she didn't get mad at me. All right. So I went to a carnival with her, and I asked her what balls she wanted me to get for her, and she said she wanted me to get this one because it was like a pig. And I did get it, by the way, because it's in my room. Yeah, so I did, and they call them pigs, bro. And you know what the worst thing is about it? They like it.
This making its way through the West right now of romance scamming. And they can even get brand deals or sponsorships with very little actual effort involved. But the bigger reason why it's happening is because it's currently allowed to happen. Let me take a step back right now. This right here is a video publicly available on YouTube with over 400,000 views right now as I make this, that's been reported numerous times by tons of different people, directly outlining precisely how to make one of these profiles.
Nice.
And more insidiously, directly telling people to go download the reels and video profiles for actual human women.
Go back.
To go download the reels and video profiles for actual...
Damn. Yeah, they're getting good at this.
Human women who resemble the AI model that they have constructed a face for,
Right.
then showcasing step by step how to swap that face onto the body of these real women and use their content for second generation AI influencer profiles.
Right.
For starters, that is very obvious copyright infringement, making no mention of the ethical problems, the numerous...
The guy that's doing this is, he lives in India. What are you going to do? You're not going to do shit about it. It's some Indian guy that's making characters that he's gooning to, and then he posts them, and then other people start gooning to as well. Like, they don't give a fuck. People are posting this shit all over the world. There's nothing you can do about this.
Ethical problems involved.
It was from China?
And yet YouTube has allowed this video to persist unimpeded since September of 2023, amassing close to 500,000 views. And it's not the only one. People are watching this, emulating this, and further degrading the world of social media by stealing content from real human beings across the web, altering their faces, and then spamming that content out again with 10 or even 20 times more viewership than it received.
This crazy, girls on the internet, this is what's nuts about it, is that basically any girl on the internet has, any popular girl on the internet has, deep fake porn made of her. And, I'm a guy, right? So it doesn't really affect me. But it does negatively affect them a lot, and it is weird. It's definitely weird. You can't stop it from happening. That's the truth, is you cannot stop this. Because it's a global internet, and the United States laws don't apply in China or India or Bangladesh. So you're going to have people posting this shit up no matter what. There's 100% deepfake porn of you out there? Well, good. I hope it's accurate. But that's it. You sure? Yeah, no, I'm sure there's some examples, but it's just probably not that many. But anyway, what I'm saying is, and as a girl, to me, it doesn't bother me, right? I mean, as I said, I used to sleep in a bed with 5 dudes before. This doesn't matter to me. I'm very open about that shit. It's not weird or anything like that. But anyway, my point is that there's no way you can stop this, and it's just going to keep getting worse.
First place. Of course, I know what some people are thinking. Social media has always been a cesspit. Instagram in particular has consistently shown that it's all about manufactured image. But this is a couple steps further, because we're not talking about people using filters to touch up their own appearance or special photo shoots where the conditions are non-representative of an average person. We're talking about fragments of human content being swept up, manipulated, then regurgitated to millions of people.
That's right.
Far greater than that piece of content ever originally reached by itself. And this problem is not being stopped. As it stands, as soon as you find a thread to tug on, the problem is already pervasive. I focused on a few individual examples, but I could show you thousands more.
They do it on Twitter,
you can easily find networks far larger than the one that I discussed already today, which may or may not be managed by the same person, but certainly use similar tactics. Each of the profiles I already gave as examples have a beacons.ai link in their profile,
Where does it
which
go
is
to?
basically a Patreon alternative, meaning that they not only propagate this stolen content to Instagram, they monetize it through alternative platforms as well.
Let's say what's really going on. Let's talk about it matter of fact. What they do is they use the platform, like Instagram or whatever, to advertise like OnlyFans, Fansly, Patreon, or like one of these other websites, and then they sell porn. So they have like the character model that is wearing clothes on Instagram, and then you go to the link, and it's the character model doing things that are more, lewd or whatever. Like, real funny. I just mean real girls are forced into spots where they're looked at. They're looked at like bots. Well, yeah. I mean, this is just what happens, right? I mean, it's the same as like, men are better at being women than women are. Apparently, that's what's happening. Is you're seeing all these real girls that are losing to like, some Indian man, fucking just sitting there gooning all day. And he's just beating out real girls, and they don't even have a chance against him. Ranjesh won? Yeah, bro, like this guy is unstoppable.
I understand the argument that AI generated content is fine, despite that content being trained on actual human work in the first place, but this goes far beyond that in a very decisive way. Compounding the issue is the fact that Instagram only allows the rights holder of content to report that same material for copyright infringement, which used to be fine in order to prevent trolling. It's an antiquated system now. But with second-generation AI influencers, the problem is going parabolic. It's often difficult to even find the original content, let alone the legal representative who owns it. And because you can't report something on someone else's behalf unless you are that legal representative,
you couldn't. It would not be. The system could not function if you can report on another person's behalf. It would be impossible.
No matter how obvious it is,
it couldn't function.
It is getting pretty obvious. The problem currently has no solution.
No,
the pace at which copyright holders
the only solution. Here's the only solution. Is that you do what South Korea does, and you make every single social media account require an ID. That's the only way you can do it.
This is insignificant compared to the accelerating pace of the problem itself, and it's a feedback loop because the algorithm very likely chooses and promotes this type of content in the first place.
Yeah.
Now that people have identified a cheap, efficient, and effective way of producing it at scale, which they can with even just a simple laptop or even a phone, what do we think is going to happen to the platform? Short term, Instagram at least grapples with the prospect of massively increased engagement and overall content being posted to their website. Long term, the human component of Instagram, and probably soon after social media in general, continues to degrade because the desire to produce revenue and the ability to manipulate content you don't own is increasing faster than any countermeasure. In the end,
it's also that people just want to jerk off to like something that they like. That's it. And so like people don't like, here's the thing is that I don't even understand why as a male you would have an Instagram account. Like, why would you ever post anything on Instagram as a guy? It just seems stupid to me. I mean, unless you're like maybe a model or something like that. Like, why would you do this? And so, yeah, maybe to talk to girls, maybe, right? Yeah, maybe that's it. Attract a girl? Yeah, maybe. But like otherwise, I can't really see the reason. People use Instagram because they want to look at attractive people. That's why it's popular. If you look at all of the most popular accounts on Instagram, it's mainly attractive people. That's just the way it is. So you can't act like this is some sort of like, unknowable problem. The fact is that a lot of people like that, and that's why the website is so popular.
It's not a problem that currently affects me because I don't have an Instagram or Facebook account to begin with. After I ran an experiment creating a fake profile for researching bots.
Nah, bro. Like, there's plenty of YouTube comments. I bet some of these YouTube comments down here could be fake. Let me see if I can find one real quick. You see if I can get one. Ooh, where are they? This one could be fake. Okay, it's not. Anytime that I see a girl, like especially a blonde girl, I just assume it's a fake account. But it looks like these comments aren't really so bad. But there are comments all the time on Instagram, or sorry, on YouTube that are from fake accounts that just copy paste other people's accounts.
networks. I got permabanned on every single Meta-owned platform. But
Jesus.
I do use social media, and I do understand that problems today could very well affect me tomorrow. And that's what I see happening here.
Yeah, of course.
Which is the rise of a problem that will continue to grow until it's addressed at the level of terms and conditions, which is currently failing to happen on practical.
It won't matter because even if they say it's against the rules to have AI characters, people are just going to do it anyway. Why would they just not just keep doing it? I mean, let's be real.
Any major website, including YouTube. For the moment, there's not much I or anyone else can do because the issue isn't even technically reportable. I don't own the copyright, so I would have to individually hunt down the women in each of these reels and tell them personally about it. But that's obviously an untenable solution. So maybe awareness, generally speaking, can cause these tech companies to proactively wake up, mitigating something that's about to hit them like a freight train before it actually does. But I'm doubtful, to say the very least.
No.
It's worth a shot, but I don't think they're going to do anything before it's too late to have lasting repercussions on the whole ecosystem. That's it. The human component of social media is on track to be drowned out by a tsunami of manipulated garbage, well and truly beyond anything we've seen prior to this. And the beachhead is Instagram. That's the thing you'll watch to see what's going to happen in the future.
Well, Instagram is the most popular because you can have, so it's because the AI generated girls that they can make are attractive. That's the reason why Instagram is popular. Like if the AI generated characters they had look like Shiva, then it probably, well, maybe that'd be popular in its own way, but it probably wouldn't be as popular. So like that's the main reason why it happens.
All the rest of them. I guess we'll see what happens over time. If you want to support the channel, check out the links down below. A special VPN deal, the video's sponsor, Incogni, of course, Locals and Patreon, a human Locals and Patreon page. Check that out, and more. Merchandise, new website, etc. But I'll cut it there and stop rambling. As always, thank you all for watching. Question everything, and have a nice night.
There's nothing they can do to stop it. Unless they do what South Korea does. Nothing they can do. Because even if they make it against the rules, here's the thing. If they make it against the rules, I'll link you all the video. This was a good video. I was glad to see this. The reason why it doesn't matter is because, oh, you go and you make it against the rules. That's fine. People break the rules all the time. You think these people that are making these infinite amounts of accounts and all these people, like, they're going to be like, oh, well, we can't do this anymore. It's against the rules now. Nobody gives a fuck about that shit. Nobody cares. So that's it. Imagine this account is really AI. Yeah, I guess so. Elon said they're making an AI game studio. AI is the future, man. AI is a tool. Now, using AI to solve every problem that's ever existed is not the future. But what is the future is AI being a tool that's used for almost everything. And I think that's really what happens more than anything, is that you're going to have AI be used for nearly every single feature and every type of gameplay. Legendary Jobs PoE interview. Oh, I've got a lot more AI mathematics. Like you're talking about this with like, medicine, etc. It's super, super common, guys. And Imposter Brew, AI can't make funny jokes yet. Way too grammatically illiterate. Well, all of those things are going to change and improve. And that's really what the point is that I'm making with a lot of this, is that all of the things that people complain about with AI right now, they're all going to get better. And when they do get better, what happens? Every criticism people have for AI about it not being good will eventually be removed. Because you remember like 2 years ago when all of these like people that were like, Redditors, right? Were like, no, AI, I can tell an AI photo. And I was telling people like then, I was like, yeah, now you can, but soon it's going to be good enough to where like you're not going to be able to tell. And they're like, no, I'm smart. I'm going to always be able to tell. And now nobody can tell. They're just stupid. And so it's just going to keep getting better. And especially what's going to happen, I think, with a lot of AI representation is that it's going to be made by AI 90% and then finalized by a human in order to cut out the uncanny elements and the inconsistencies. That's really where we're going to see things go. It's touched up. Yeah, exactly, right? Humans will find something to whine about in AI? Yeah, sure. I use AI for my work for presentations and my boss thinks I'm intelligent. Well, then keep doing it. It works, right? And I mean, at the same point, if you're doing something that, if you're doing something that works, then, I mean, I guess you kind of are smart in that way, right? Use AI business photo because I was too lazy to take a normal one. Works like a charm. Yeah, exactly. And I think that AI is going to replace almost everybody's job. It's actually going to be crazy how many people are going to get replaced.